Well, hello everyone. Here we're going to look at a graphics comparison at resolution 1920 by 1200, which is really most monitors go to this resolution, and whether or not Battlefield 4 you can play it with your graphics card, or what sort of settings you should be looking at. So this graphics card in the system, I've got an i5-2500K, which is an Intel processor, and I've got a fairly it's sort of average. It's an NVIDIA GTX 560Ti, about 2 years old. Uh, Plays all the games. So let's see how that will perform in Battlefield. As you can see, I'm going to start with a low settings, and we're going to then do comparisons through the standard settings. I'm not going to mess around with them, but it's going to start with the low settings. So first of all, let's go back there and go resume. So you can see here with the low settings that graphics, the water's quite good, graphics near are quite good, but the buildings are looking quite blurred, shaky. The main building in front of us, which is the one that comes down after being blown up, you can't see much detail at all on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up so you can just see a bit higher. There you go. Set it there, and then we're going to change now to medium settings. So this is giving round about 43 frames per second, which is really the limit that you want to be trying to play Battlefield. But however, you notice a difference in the glass, and some of the graphics behind has got better as well in the water. So what we're going to do is going to try now in high settings. So we're already pushing the limit here on medium settings. Let's go and push it to high. So we're around about 37 frames a second here. It's still playable, but I wouldn't advise it unless you're just sightseeing. Buildings have got better, water's different in terms of the waves, and the trees are now getting better as well. But really, not much difference between medium and high settings on this NVIDIA card. Let's go and have a look at ultra settings. Now we're down to around about 25 frames per second. What you get with the ultra settings is you get lots more shadows, better shadows, and just more crisper outlines. The actual textures don't appear to be much better in some areas than the high settings. But anyway, just see if you can actually move. You can actually move at 21 frames a second, but when you start firing stuff, it starts slowing down to about 15 frames a second. So there you go, that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and change location to show you a different style. But you can see on the high detail, see in the far distance, the smoke effects. It's far better and far higher quality, and the blur effects. Anyway, let's go and have a look at a different location. So we changed the location here, we're back to low settings, and you can see it's still some good graphics, but you haven't got, and if you look at the shadows on the right, see how they change, and the bits and pieces, but it still looks alright, but it doesn't look as good as high settings. So let's go to medium settings. So we're getting around about 46 frames per second here on medium settings at 1920 by 1080, and some of the things that have changed, shadows are getting crisper, the tree leaves are getting better, and some of the graphics are sort of getting crisper. Let's go and have a look at the high settings. So we're getting around about 35 frames per second here, so we're getting on really on the border of being useful for an FPS. You should be much higher in terms of frame rates with the speed of this game, and with more players and battles, explosions to get on. So we are pushing this card to get high settings in the 1920 settings. So let's just go to Ultra for the point of it. Grand total of 23 frames per second, so straight away it's looking lovely, and shadows and stuff on the ground looks fantastic. Heat rays, so that's it, but yeah, it does look fantastic, and the buildings look wonderful, but I suppose it is playable. It's sort of sitting around about 25 frames per second, but what we're going to do is I'll do a real in-game test to show you how that is in another video. Right, so there you go. We'll now go and find another location. So up on the highest point in the game, apart from on the helicopters, we're back on low settings. We're getting about 46 frames per second up here. Not as good as down on the ground, but what you'll notice is the sea and the flames from the ship over there won't be the same, and the graphics are just much poorer. So let's go to medium settings. Slightly better in medium settings. We're getting 41 frames per second, so we only lost 4 frames to bring it up from low to medium. But in 1920 again, you are pushing this card. The little graphics card is, the fan on it now is going full pelt as well. Once we go up through the settings, and even when we go back to low, it takes its time to get back. So let's go to high settings. So we had 36 frames per second here without anything going on. The graphics are definitely better. The buildings are sharper and some lighting effects as well, but not great shadows. That's the thing you don't need at this time. So let's go to the ultra settings at this point. Right, up here we're getting around about 18 frames a second. As you can see now, you're starting to get judder. And it looks really good, or it looks really nice, but you're starting to get that juddering effect, and it's just about playable. In fact, let's just have a quick look at, you blow the glass out and the high def, smaller pieces, and it does look good. Anyway, so I don't think you can really try to play Battlefield 4 on your 560 Ti at 1920 settings. It just won't be able to cope with the in-game, but it looks quite nice, still looks quite nice, and there you go. So you enjoyed that. I'm going to go move on now to the 7850 review, and looking at 1920 by 1080 and see how that works as well. But yes, there we go. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.